This latest draft is brief, expressing grave concerns over the catastrophic situation in Gaza, demands an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, further demanding that parties comply with their obligations under international law, including international humanitarian law, most notably with regard to the protection of civilians. And is seen as a direct effort to support the Secretary-General, who's now flexing what little additional diplomatic muscle the Charter affords him on issues of international peace and security.
Given the scale of the loss of human life in Gaza and in Israel in such a short amount of time, the Secretary-General has today delivered a letter to the President of the Security Council invoking Article 99 of the Charter of the United Nations. This is the first time that Antonio Guterres has done this since he became Secretary-General in 2017. Article 99 states, and I quote, that the Secretary-General may bring to the attention of the Security Council any matter in his opinion that may threaten the maintenance of international peace and security. In the letter, which has been shared with you, the Secretary-General urges the members of the Security Council to press to avert a humanitarian catastrophe, and he appeals for a humanitarian ceasefire to be declared.
Pressure is now building on key Israeli ally, the United States, to support the new draft, but early indications suggest Washington is unlikely to budge on demanding an immediate ceasefire.
I will not speak to any resolution that hasn't yet been introduced, because we'd obviously want to look at the text of that and engage in consultations before we made a decision about how we might exercise our vote in the Security Council. I will say, with respect to a ceasefire, we have made clear that we do not support actions that would leave Hamas in a place where it could continue to carry out terrorist attacks against Israel. We've also been clear that we support humanitarian pauses, especially if those humanitarian pauses can allow hostages to come out.
While a statement from Israel's UN ambassador Gilad Erdan accused the Secretary-General of reaching a new moral low by invoking Article 99, saying his calls for a ceasefire was actually a call to keep Hamas's reign of terror in Gaza, echoing earlier comments made in that regard.
How would you respond and defend your citizens from such a clear threat? With a ceasefire? How can one call for a ceasefire and at the same time claim to seek a solution to the conflict? After all, anyone who supports a ceasefire basically supports Hamas' continued reign of terror in Gaza. Hamas is a genocidal terror organization. They don't hide it. Not a reliable partner for peace. Don't you see the contradiction here? Calling for both a ceasefire and peace is a paradox.
Palestine's UN envoy told the press on Wednesday that Arab ministers would discuss the draft resolution while on a visit to Washington this week. So the Council will meet this Friday for a high-stakes meeting that will be addressed by the Secretary-General, where he will echo elements of his letter to the Council this week invoking Article 99, in which he laid bare the matter as urgent, that the civilian population had to be spared from greater harm, and that with a humanitarian ceasefire, the means of survival in Gaza could be restored. Shervin Briceby's SABC News, New York.